Welcome to Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Bar. We have a lot of guests here tonight. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier here, Chip Hayner on the end, and plenty of guests. And what we do is we start out the first segment with what's on our mind.
On a somber note, first off, I'd like to, our heartfelt prayers and thoughts go out to the Seton Hill University Griffins. Saturday morning, very tragic accident, a bus accident. The girls lacrosse team lost their head coach in the accident, and she was 6 months pregnant. And she and her young child both passed away. So we're going to give our thoughts and prayers out to the Seton Hill University and the families involved there. But stupidity is alive and well in the NFL, and it's being displayed in free agency left and right. I love it. Elvis Dumerville agrees to play for a reduced amount with the Denver Broncos because theoretically the Broncos are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. But oops, he missed the deadline by 6 minutes and he got cut by the Broncos. So now he's out looking for a job, and then it's just another one of those examples of where stupidity is going to be rewarded because somebody's going to pay him a lot more money, but his chances of winning the championship are out the window. And then Wes Welker up in the played for the Patriots for the last 6 years, and he made another boneheaded move, and I don't know if it's his move or his agent's move, but he went ahead and signed a $12 million 2-year contract with the Broncos to play for the Broncos this year. The only problem was he walked away from $16 million on the table from the Patriots. So, that's just another example of the stupidity that exists in the NFL. But what I liked most about it was DeMaurice Smith, the head of the NFLPA. Well, he's standing behind Elvis Dumerville 100% because, he wants to support his right to miss a deadline and still have a chance to be able to sign with his team. So way to go, DeMaurice. And the last thing that's on my mind, Sid Crosby, NHL MVP. Write it down.
Well, thank you, Chip. I appreciate it. You covered a lot of territory on what's on your mind. I definitely don't want to go in that cranium there.
It's dangerous. Trust me.
I believe you. And now we have Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. If you want to make some money in March Madness, I got a stone cold lead pipe lock for you. The lock is Kentucky will kill Robert Morris. But hey, if you wait till after the show, I will give you my national champion right after the show. Hey, I want to acknowledge a couple people in the audience. I don't know how. First of all, I want to welcome my good friend to Facebook. Chip, welcome to the 2013.
Welcome to the 21st
I don't know how we got him. We got the best boxing trainer in the city of Pittsburgh. I've been trying to hook up with this guy for a long time. He's one of the best boxing trainers in the country. Please give a big hand for Johnny Spales. He's going to be a guest up here pretty soon. And I'm off the market, ladies. I got engaged over the weekend.
Say it ain't so.
My fiance Brazil is here. Everybody wave to Brazil. Hey, Brazil, how you doing, sweetie? Don't sit on her when y'all come up here on the seat.
A couple of them. Don't tell the other one.
It works for linebackers.
Hey, listen, if you can't beat them, join them. If you can't beat them, join them. Pitt and the Pittsburgh Steelers could never beat Bruce Gradkowski, so they hired him. And I love to hire him. I tell you what, for 2 reasons. I like it for number one, when Bruce Gradkowski was in high school, I said he was the hardest working quarterback on the high school level I ever seen when he played for Seton LaSalle. He's also a great leader. Number 2 reason why I love the hire of Bruce Gradkowski is now the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to get rid of the brittle brother, Byron Leftwich. Byron Leftwich is a brittle brother. Byron Leftwich is the only player NFL history that can roll out to the right, without Bruce Gradkowski, the Steelers are solid at quarterback. All they need now is a couple receivers to throw the ball to.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. And most of these thoughts as a disclaimer are Smoking Jim's, and he is opinionated like the rest of us. Well, forget that disclaimer. You could read it on the front of the show. You can also see us on YouTube. You can see us on Verizon throughout the area if you're in Bethel Park, which that's our hometown. We have Aaron Ward, Devin Shea, and Dave Cable, the director. They help us put this show together. Without them, we couldn't be in Sips Bar, and we thank Sips Bar for letting us come in here. And I do have a couple of my advertisements that I talk about. We got Golden Glove Boxing. Smoking Jim and I were at a Royal Place on 88. We had a great boxing match. Jimmy Savetic, our guest, told us there'd be a dozen or more fights. He was right. There was great fights that night. Now they'll be going on the 23rd at Punxsutawney at 7 p.m. March 24th, they'll be at Holy Trinity in Erie. And then April 6th, they'll be in Du Bois Country Club. And then you'll see the BPTV team at the Western PA Finals at the Doubletree Hotel in Monroeville.
That's country.
And that's April 14th. So you can do your taxes with Smoking Jim Frazier and watch some great fighting there, and you'll get it in on time. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then let's see what else I have. We'll do some other things later. This towel, man, it's warm in here. But what's on my mind is it's amazing. I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago. We have an NHL team here called the Penguins. They were talking about maybe disbanding them. They couldn't win a game. They were up and down. They'd win a game, lose a game. How could they go to the Stanley Cup? Well, the talking machine said Stanley Cup, like other guys on the panel here. Now we have 9 wins in a row. And we drink their Kool-Aid, but for all the schizophrenic fans, when they're winning, they're going to the Cup. When they're losing, they can't make it. Just enjoy the games. Look at some of the entertainment we've had. Malkin's out for a while with that injury, upper body injury, probably a concussion, but he'll get better, and that's actually saving him for later. We're halfway in the season, and look at how we are. It's just super to watch the team, and that's what's on my mind. Okay, and our first guest is going to be Cassie from Cassandra Florals and Decorations. And I probably got that wrong, but I met her over a year ago. This lady has been a Woman Business of the Year, award-winning, and look what she made for the show. This is what she creates, from sports to weddings, you name it, any type of event. She'll show you. We'll get something close up here. Let's see what else before you get in here, and then we'll talk a little sports. Look at you. They don't need to see me. They've seen me before, so.
And we got to get her a Gonzaga jersey.
Oh, that she's all about Pittsburgh. Look at that. Cassie, nice seeing you. Can we set this down? Because looks like, yeah, it looks like somebody's like right on top of me here. Besides, you know.
Thank you.
Well, we'll have opening bids on that. We're starting at $25. It'll go to your local favorite florist. Hey, thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And how long does it take to put something together with a sports theme?
It varies depending on what you want. I can do a whole array of things for the florals industry. I'm a concierge florist, which means I handle the order from beginning to end 100%. There's no middleman. There's no over the phone. Let me
interrupt you. How do they get a hold of you? By phone, internet, or whatever? Because you're like the queen of social media. I've learned off of her, and if you think I'm good Smoking Jim, Cassie's one of the best in the city.
Well, I'm a big believer in it only takes one card and one person to have that, $1 million floral order or sport order or whatever you do.
Sure.
So you have to work at your social media, Facebook. I don't have a website. I do it all through Facebook. So it's Cassandra's Florals at Facebook. And
like her page, just like you like Pittsburgh Sportsline. We're up to 153. Ooh. A new record.
Here's my belief on that.
That's why I brought it up, so then you can tell people, and this will be on the air, and they'll see it again. Go ahead.
Well, you know, we all have to help out each other, small businesses especially, because without a helping hand or paying it forward or doing, you know, passing the word around, the small businesses are going to go the way of the roadside and the big businesses are going to take over.
Sure.
So, you know, it's not going to hurt you to like somebody's Facebook page. It takes a click, and it goes to the little side of your, on the right-hand page, and then me, I look at everybody's page. 90% of people just, you know, look at certain things on Facebook pages.
Right.
So, you know, like what you believe in, just don't go out there and like every business on Facebook, but, you know, you help a person
like
out,
us
help a
nice
small
people
person
then.
out. Yes. You know, social media is based on numbers. It gets your rank higher. So I'm just shy of 500. I'm trying to get up there.
Hold it 1 second. Everybody watching this show or anybody here, make sure you like, tell them again.
Cassandra's Florals, CASSANDRAS, and then Florals, FLORALS.
Wow, you know how to spell all.
And well, that's a little confusing. You never know. And the difference
It
between
is.
a business page and a fan page, everybody, is everybody wants friends. Everybody hopefully has friends. And when you go on Facebook and you click the add friend button, that's what you're doing. You're adding a friend. When you like a business, you're liking them because you trust and want to do business with them, and then you're encouraging other people as your friends to see who you like as a business. So you have to hit the like button. Likes are for businesses. Add a friend is so you get more friends if you're friendless.
And this was a little lesson that you got, no charge here.
So, but you know, in doing the floral, I'm really adding it up. I have a lot of my pictures on Facebook. I have taken a picture of every arrangement that I've done since 2006 when I started. They're all on my computer, and I'm a big believer in my name is on every one of my products. It's my name that goes out there. I'm very proud of every arrangement that I've ever done, and that's just a sampling of my work. I do weddings, I do obviously funerals and everyday work.
What don't you do so we can narrow it down?
The only thing I really don't do is send out anything black. I don't do black roses, black flowers. I just don't believe in that. But, you know, I'm doing bigger parties, events, banquets. I'm doing Art in Bloom. You have to be invited to do that with the Carnegie Museum.
Congratulations.
And there's only 12 florists in Pittsburgh that got invited this year, and I was one of them. So
Nice job.
yeah, I'm excited. Been working with the History Center and parties. I'm doing private parties at Nevillewood. So I'm doing a lot more with that. And, you know, I just believe that, treat others as you would want to be treated. That's been all over my Facebook page since day one. And, you know, pay it forward. And that's coming back to me.
Very good. Now, since this is a sports talk show, I got to at least get you back to sports. Do you have a favorite team or anything? Do you follow sports? If you don't, that's okay. We've had a couple people
I
that
had a husband who forced me to watch Sports Center, going to bed and waking up. So it was programmed into my mind, and every once in a while I still continue that. But of course, the Steelers.
Okay.
But you know, my favorite sports are, you know, Fashion Week and
Well, there's Steelers that go in different fashions, you know, things there with charity events. So that could tie in with that.
I'm not a big sports person, but you know, I can do sports-related events too. I did the
Well, we talked a little bit beforehand. So.
I did the defensive Christmas party one year for the Steelers.
Really?
So it's a lot of fun. It's, you know, there's a lot of opportunity with floral. I'm different, modern, and unique. I don't do the same old. I'm not traditional. There's enough florists in the area that if you want traditional, there's plenty out there. I'm modern, unique, and one of a kind. And when you order from me, or you go to my Facebook page, or you talk to me, that's what you're going to get. I'm one of a kind, and to be honest, I'm fabulous. So why wouldn't you want to use me?
And on that happy note, thank you for coming on the show. I hope you get the 500 likes after this show's on the air. It'll probably be on the day.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
All right, our next guest is that famous trainer who's friends with Smokin' Jim Frazier, Johnny Spell. Come on up.
The man.
Thanks a lot, there. I don't know how famous I am, though.
You're famous in my book. I just saw that Saturday night.
You know, I'm trying to get to that big fame money.
Well, welcome to the show. Do you want to tell us first, like, the name of your gym so we can get that out there?
Okay, I'm Northside Pell. We're located at 1701 Bellevue Drive. We're the only gym located in the housing
Say whatever.
In housing projects.
Okay.
In the housing projects of Pittsburgh.
Give us that street again, slow here, because
1701 Bellevue Drive.
Okay.
That's Fanview Housing.
Okay. That's good. Do you have a Facebook page, website, or anything? We want to get that up front.
Anything for me is Johnny.Spell on Facebook and also on Twitter.
Twitter, too. You're ahead of me on the You're tweeting. All right, we better get to boxing now. Now, I saw something that I saw a couple times on Saturday night where a father is the trainer of the son.
Okay.
And I saw your son there. Now, how old's your son?
Well, my son's 17. He just turned 17 in October.
Wow.
So
he looks like a baby-faced assassin there, because he was very tough on in the ring.
He has the will to win. That's definitely, that's something you can't teach. When the guy got the will to win, only thing you do, you give him the skills, he'll do what he got to do.
Well, I can see he's well coached there too, and he must be a hard worker, because when I shook your hand, I'm hurting a little bit here, Seth. It looks like you stay in shape yourself.
Yeah, I do. I put my time in the gym as well. I'm trying to make Bernard Hopkins pull me out of retirement.
Well, are you like 47 or something, so you want to fight him?
No, I'll be 42 in April.
No way. You're already on ARP. Hopkins is trying to get to the ARP. I already beat all you guys. I'm the oldest on the show here, so.
Okay. Yeah, so.
Well, when was your last fight then?
Well,
I mean, in the ring.
In the ring, 2000.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
2008.
2008.
Yeah, so about
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 5 years ago.
Well, you were almost 47.
Yeah.
Wow.
40, I was about 46, 47 my last fight.
And what weight? What class were you?
I was a middleweight. I fought all three middleweight divisions. I fought 154, 160, and 168.
Get on.
All at the same time.
Each night.
It just depended on how much
No,
you ate.
Yeah, have a day off.
It was crazy. Like, I'll make 154, and then the next fight would be 168, and I would have to gain all that weight back that I just lost to get the 54 to get that fight for the 68.
And still stay in shape.
Hey, I would come in like 64. I would never made the 68.
Okay. That was a little too tough.
I never made the 68. Never got that bad.
Well, that's good with you. Now, how many guys do you train in your gym?
Well, right now I have 25 boxers. I have 9 boxers in the Golden Gloves that's registered for the Golden Gloves right now. So there's still, you've seen 3 so far, so there's still 6 you haven't seen yet.
Okay. We'll have to look for those guys in the finals. How many are going to make it to the finals in Western PA? All right. See? I like confidence like that.
Oh, no, they're all going to make it.
Okay.
And I tell you what, I've been around the boxing game for a long time, and me and Chief talks boxing all the time. And I tell you what, Chief, come out and see Johnny Spell's son, most talent ever seen. I tell you what, like his dad said, there's certain things you can't teach. Hand speed, instincts, foot movement, and the will to win. And this son got all that, man. So he's gonna make Pittsburgh real proud.
You need some heart too, because I want to tell you, when he comes up here, I'm going to talk a little bit about blood with him. All right?
Blood?
Yeah.
You know more about black people than anybody I know.
Hopefully not yours.
Well, I was born on 105 Pride Street, which is now underneath Mercy Hospital's emergency room. That's back in the day there.
Wow.
So that's my story there. So who are the fighters that you brought tonight that we're going to see?
Tonight I brought Johnny Spell. And I also brought Keith Jahed.
Okay. I saw Keith had a heck of a fight too.
Yeah, he had a good fight as well.
Definitely. We'll get them up.
And
are they back in the training again already or what?
yeah, we don't stop.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
No, we don't stop.
They're not even eating or anything over there.
Yeah,
A couple of them are jumping rope I saw outside.
We keep it going. We keep it going. I had about 20 phone calls before. Coach, what time we should? Not today, yo.
And how long have you been doing this, Johnny?
Well, I've been training fighters now for actually 5 years.
Okay.
So after I stopped, I spoiled a lot of guys,
Sure.
you know, to help them along the way. Mike Carr.
Big Mike.
Yeah,
Wow.
Eddie Chambers Jr.
Wow.
Rayco, War Saunders. all
Wow.
that.
Wow. There's a guy that's been on our show a couple times. You're dropping the right names.
Mezzik Clay.
Wow.
They all, you know, I spotted
Really?
a lot of those guys, you know, while they were coming up the ranks, you know.
Well, let me ask you a question before we get to your boxers. Let me ask a question that is highly debated on this show. I always say that one of the greatest amateur fighters I ever seen come through Pittsburgh was Vaquan the Show Kimbrough. Do you agree?
He was a good amateur fighter, but
Tell the truth. We tell the truth here. You can be nice.
there's another group of kids
Let me have
that, you know, before his time. There's a group of kids before his time. Ernest Sharif,
Yeah.
who's now the referee.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a Pan Am Games winner.
Yeah.
He done a lot of great things in boxing. He just decided to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Then there was Rob White, that was
Rob White,
also
yeah.
a very good boxer, had a very
point.
good amateur career. He decided to be in law enforcement. So,
That's a good
you
point.
know, then there was a older guy named Rudy Boles.
Wow, I heard of that.
Now
name.
Rudy Boles, 5-time national champion.
Wow.
And he was good.
I heard that name before.
What weight class? What weight
He
class?
was
do
a
you-
lightweight.
Okay.
Wow.
He was really good.
Well, you're like a historian here. You know
Well,
that.
the boxers in this city, a lot of these guys, like I spent time in the gym with Rudy Boles being trained by him. I spent some time with Charlie Burley, which is a legendary boxer from
Wow.
from Pittsburgh.
In the Hall of Fame.
I spent some time with a guy that probably hardly ever gets mentioned, Stanley Lester III. Also was a national Golden Glove champion several times.
Wow.
I spent time in the gym with him.
Well, here, you told me a story on Saturday night that you started at a young age. Can you tell the people here what age you started
I
boxing?
started boxing at 5 years old.
He's telling the same story,
You
folks.
still got all your teeth?
Yeah.
Look at that smile, too. He got a good smile.
I started doing this at 5 years old. I've been in the gyms. I've been a gym rat all my life, just about.
Yeah. No, that's
And
fantastic.
speaks well. His speech ain't slurred, nothing.
No. And you know what? He's going word for word with me. You had to jump in to help me, and I'm known as the talking machine. So I'm getting a little intimidated again here, not just with the handshake, but we're going to have to bring up your boxers here,
Oh, that'd be great.
and we'll get them a little airtime. And Johnny,
Okay,
I want
thanks
to
a lot.
thank you.
We got to have you
Thank
back by popular demand. Great job,
Thanks a lot.
Johnny. You killed it, brother.
You know what? After you get 9 champions, will you come back here?
Okay.
Even if you get 5 or 6, okay?
for sure.
All right, thank
I'll
you,
do
Johnny.
that again for you.
All right, we got to bring a boxer up. Which boxer wants to come up? Johnny Jr. or?
Here's a guy I ain't never seen get hit yet.
And I'm going to let the ring announcer give you the announcement like he does when you sit down. Smoking Jim, give that boxing
Well,
announcement.
I tell you what, man, this guy is so fast that he can he can hit the light switch and be in the bed before the room gets dark. I tell you what, I was telling the referee to stop the fight from the first round on. He's in the class all by himself. Please tell everybody in southwestern Pennsylvania your name and where you train at.
All right, my name is Keith Jahad, Jahad. I train on the north side, North Shore area. My coach is Coach Johnny Spells. He just got off the mic with you guys.
All right. And how long have you been boxing?
Well, I took 2 months off, but I've been boxing for about 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May.
Well, how old are you then?
I'm 24 now.
Wow.
Nice. And what brought you to the great sport of boxing?
Well, see, I grew up in Atlantic City, New Jersey, a boxing city. So I grew up watching Mike Tyson. So I always wanted to box.
Where's your tattoo? I saw a fighter on Saturday night that had that tattoo on his face.
Yeah, that
He said it was
guy's-
painful,
that
too.
guy is in another class.
Okay,
I-
you're-
You probably know my good friend Larry Hazard,
Nah.
the commissioner up there in New Jersey. He's actually
Yeah,
from Dollar Cook.
I actually moved here when I was about seven years of age. So
He missed out on your friend there.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
making new friends in the city here. Well, the way your boxing was, that was a great performance by you.
Well, thank you.
You know, it was a great fight. You had a great competitor against you there, and you won the match there.
And I tell you what, I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching boxing a long time, and you got pro written all over you. Is that your goal?
Well, my goal is just to, you know, take it one step at a
One fight at a time.
Yeah, but you know, anything can happen. Get a manager, you know, and pursue my career from there.
If you want the green, get with Levine.
Well, yeah. That's not for St. Patrick's Day either. That's over. But we're trying to help promote you. So, do you have anything, a Facebook or anything where people could see you, or an email?
Well, as of right now, I have no Facebook. Just trying to stay focused away from
Any
friends
distractions?
and any distractions. Staying up all late night to the hour, and you know, just trying to focus
Coach
on
Johnny
training
Spell
and
don't
everything.
even give his fighters a phone. Let them have a phone, Coach.
Well, you know what? We appreciate you being on the show. You look like you're in great shape. Stay in shape and keep winning. We'll see you in the finals.
All right.
All right?
This
It's
is
a
the
pleasure.
Golden Glove champion right here.
Here's one, folks. You're seeing it. Do you go by Johnny Spells Jr. or? Young Johnny Spells is coming up, folks. Welcome to the show. I was ringside when this young man was fighting. He impressed the heck out of me. Look at the smile he has. How could he be a boxer? He looks too pleasant. You know, he's smiling like I do all the time. He's just a happy young man.
Even when you take a hit, you still gotta laugh. So yeah.
Well, you were pulling like a Heinz Ward there. You were smiling. I think you frustrated the guy because you kept smiling. And then, what's with this blood? You started bleeding, and I caught it before Smoking Jim did, and he's our expert. He goes, no, he's not bleeding. I said, yeah, he's bleeding even more. What happened?
Just happens a lot, and he caught me with a nice little nose shot. Just nice little shot he threw at me. Hit me in the nose. I bleed a lot of fights out.
I got a history on you because I was talking to your dad after the fight, and he said, my son's just like me. I'm a little bit of a bleeder. I could get hit anytime and just bleed. The wind even caused the nosebleed once in a while. But he goes, I fought through it, and I said, well, you impressed me.
Yeah.
So, young Johnny, I appreciate that. You fought through that. I know it was hard to breathe a little bit there, too, because the referee warned you once on the mouth guard.
I had to leave my mouthpiece out a little bit so I can breathe and keep on fighting.
I saw what you were doing, and so did the ref, and he warned you, and I thought that was really smart, and you look well trained.
Thanks.
Now, how long have you been boxing?
I've been training since I've been 5, but didn't get my first fight until I was 12.
Why'd your dad hold you back so long?
He wanted me to train hard.
Harder?
And had me until around that time. He was just making me train, homework and all that.
Well, how's school then? You doing all right in school?
Yep, it's good.
And what year in high school are you?
I'm in my 11th grade.
Good. And you're going to graduate next year?
Yep.
All right, that's a good thing. And still keep boxing.
One thing about Johnny, he's been such an exceptional boxer his whole life. He's always had to fight kids that were much older than he has been. How's that been for you, having to fight somebody older than you all the time?
It's been hard. It's just sparring with them, taking them punches, going home at that night after that sparring session. They got me nice though. They got my reflexes good, my moving around the ring. Everybody like my feet. It's been a lot because of the sparring with the older guys. Keep me on the move.
And do you play any other sports?
Yes, I play basketball and I play football.
Do you know there's a school in Monroeville called Gateway? We'd love to have you.
Oh, and he only got one more year. He already said where his gym is. Come on, Smoking Jim. Before it gets too crazy, Johnny, we're going to get you out of here. Hey, thanks. You keep in touch. You're welcome back at any time on the show. And when you're the next Golden Gloves champ, you're definitely going to be on. But even if you're not, and I think positive all the time, you're welcome back.
Okay,
you
thanks.
keep fighting and keep in school and keep having fun, too, because I see that. You take care now.
Great job. Hey, Chief, next year to Ray Robinson, buddy.
Pleasure to be
Welcome
here.
back.
Pleasure to be back.
Hey, what do you want to talk about on sports? You were in boxing. I know basketball, you were talking about Pitt. I know you're a Penguin guy, Steelers. Pick one of those four. You got another one, a wild card here for us?
We're going to go wild card.
All right.
Go, LeBron James and the Miami Heat going for 23
I wondered
straight wins
because you were
tonight.
dressed.
Right now. It's going on right now. They're trying to track down.
What's the score?
The Lakers for the all-time record at 33.
Wow.
Wins in a row.
Wow.
So that's what's on my mind right now.
Wow. Who would think we'd hear about LeBron and the Heat? That was the team I picked last year to win when a lot of people didn't want to believe me on that in a shortened season.
Well, I tell you, the Heat is finally, after a couple of years, they've gelled. I mean, they're playing very well together, complementing one another. They're no longer competing against one another. They're working together. And Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, if they're not the best 1-2 punch in the NBA, I'd like somebody to tell me who is.
Yeah, they did finally learn how to play basketball together, so that helps.
And for the record, Pitt is playing Wichita State in the big tournament, not the CB as predicted by Smoking Jim. As I said,
we said that right here. I'm with Little Z. That's why I invited him back. We got to gang up on this guy,
Hey, like
Smoking.
Jim said, there's 2 national champions that aren't defending their title: Kentucky and Pitt.
Well, tomorrow night Kentucky's gonna be a slaughterhouse.
I know, but we have a
Morris.
friend. Be nice, Marty Galosi, the senior athletic director at Robert Morris. He's a fan of the show. He's been on the show a couple times. You just passed him up in visits.
Congratulations.
And we have
Colonials.
Mike Brown in the house, who's a Robert Morris graduate. That I didn't thank him for liking Pittsburgh Sportsline. Make sure you like Pittsburgh Sportsline. He was one of our top 10. He guilted me into that. Okay, Little Z, what else is on your plate here?
On my plate, I'd have to say free agency in the NFL, which you guys touched on earlier.
Right.
It is pretty wacky this season. Guys taking less money to go other places. I've never heard of any such thing.
Well, here I want to
on the table.
Wait, I want
personally, and I don't have an economics degree from CMU, but I've never heard leaving money on the table for everybody here.
I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question, both of you guys, or all of you on that. When a guy doesn't get along with Belichick, and they actually tried to get rid of Wes Walker, not use him, but then your tight ends kept getting hurt, so you had to call his number. They weren't going to use him as much, so him and Belichick do not get along, and that's what it is. When you're a multimillionaire, a guy told me a long time ago, Chief, is it better to have 12 million or 13 million? It's always better to have 13 million unless you don't like Belichick.
Well, it depends on who your agent is.
Take a lot of things for $1 million bucks.
The things that get me is these agents are making deals, and the agent gets a commission off of that salary.
He wins no matter what, Chip.
The Doomerville blunder is
Rosenhaus.
The Doomerville blunder is epic. To be 6 minutes late.
That's one for the books. If you're going to miss it by 6 minutes, there should be some penalties or something that goes in effect.
Well, he fired his agent. He's looking for new representation right now.
You know what? We have 4 guys here that can add up 1 + 1. We get 2.
No matter who the coach is, like I said, I can tolerate a lot of things for extra $1 million a year.
I'll give you one more subject here because we're short on time. We got to get you guys on earlier next time.
Hey, that's no
Little
problem.
Z. All right. What else do you want to talk about to your fans out there? You got a growing fan base. Brenner Contracting. I don't know. You can't wear all that Heat stuff, buddy. One more sports thing. Oh, give me that towel back.
Well, obviously, we were all at the Royal Place.
I was hoping you'd bring
Saturday
that up.
night, watching these amateur kids duke it out, and some grown men that pretend to be amateurs too should probably quit fighting or step up and take their shot at the pros. But these guys from the north side, they really stood out. And I'm from the South Hills, so I don't get to see a lot of stuff going on in the north side. But them spells, man, they come to fight. And
they come to win.
Hey, they come to win too.
You don't get to find view too often?
Nah, I'm gonna get to Farm View more. I'm from Homestead, so all I gotta do is get there. That's all. So.
Hey, Little Z, I appreciate it. You're the man.
All right, Chip.
Best young businessman in the city. This guy works 24/7.
Thanks for having me.
Brenner Contract. Thanks for being here. You have a great night.
What you talking about? What you talking about?
Now we're going to bring up one of my favorite guests, Big Mike from Pittsburgh Sports Nation.
All right, Big Mike.
And folks, he brings a lot of great insights.
Back again.
And you're always welcome here. We got Little Z and Big Mike.
Yes, we are quite a combo, are we not?
You are the dynamic duo of guests. So, hold it. First things first, you were hoping to see Pitt be a champion here.
Yes.
They didn't make it there because they wanted to rest up for Wichita State. Now,
have you ever seen the scene in Predator?
Yes.
Where Arnold stands on that log, lights that fire, and lets out that yell?
Yes.
That's watching Pitt football and basketball as a fan.
I like that movie.
They're the most maddening team you can watch as a fan. They are either on or they are either awful.
Right.
And coming up to this week, you got a pretty good chance of getting.
What are your thoughts? Where do you think they'll go with this?
Here's what I see with this team. It's a team that can beat anyone. It's a team that can lose to anyone.
Right.
So it's a 2-game tournament each weekend for the next 3 weeks. Right. So you just want to focus on 2 opponents. That's it. Don't look ahead to the Sweet 16, Final Four. Let's just go with Wichita State and Gonzaga.
Okay.
And
you think they have a shot?
With the talent that team has, yes, they have a shot.
The problem with Pitt, and especially in the Big East tournament, was they played 30 minutes of good basketball. Unfortunately, the game's 40 minutes long, and had they shown up in the first 10 minutes, they would have won that game hands down. Mike and I were talking about
how about
this
making
before
3
the
or
show.
4 foul shots?
They outplayed Syracuse for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like this. In previous years, you've been let down so many times. You got to figure one of these times, something good has to happen, correct?
Right.
I mean, just one time you'd like to raise your hand and say, you know what? We did better than we were supposed to. Now, did they get unjustly seeded as an 8 seed, in my opinion? Yes. That to me is ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as Oregon getting a 12 seed as the number 25 team in the nation.
And they won the
insanity.
Pac-12. They won the Pac-12.
Yeah, it's or Miami getting a 2 seed after not only winning the ACC regular season title but the championship.
Right.
And that had been Duke or North Carolina. There'd be like riots in the streets. If one of those 2 teams did that and they didn't make a number 1 seed, there'd be insanity going on. So,
there's some strange stuff that does go on each year, but this was even more abnormal, if you can say that.
They get to go back to that S curve. They said they have a new, because of the pod system and getting teams sort of closer to home and all that stuff there.
Sure.
And they need to go back to the old ways because.
Yeah, but they're not. It's about the money. And they try to do that so they get the crowd.
Mike, do you think this is the first year a number 16 seed beats a 1 seed?
In this tournament, I tell you what.
I'm telling you, it's wide open this year.
This is, you talk about March Madness, it is going to be madness.
It's going to be worth watching.
You don't know who's going to win.
Yeah,
the only team I think that is guaranteed to go to the Elite 8 is Louisville. Other than that, any team can lose. Wow. I mean, I'm not saying number 1 seeds.
You heard it first from Pittsburgh Sports Nation, right here, buddy.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, one of the teams that I look out for in the West. Look out for Illinois, because Illinois has beaten so far this year Ohio State, Indiana, Butler, and Gonzaga.
There are so many teams that are whacking
anybody's
like
right
Michigan,
for picking.
in Illinois, in Pitt, in Syracuse. And it's just like, it's Jekyll
about
and Hyde.
Indiana?
It's another team. You don't know who's going to show up. But if the good team shows up, you're in trouble.
Right.
It's the same thing with Pitt. If Wardall's doing good, Lamar Patterson's hitting his shots. Right. To leave Zana doesn't get pushed around underneath, and he's putting back the shots and stuff like that. And Steven Adams shows up, and he's playing great defense. And
wasn't it time for him to stop being a freshman?
He's a sophomore now.
Yeah, but
freshman season's over. You're in the tournament now.
But that's my point.
If you're coaching the guy, he's 7'1". Someone needs to tell him, look, if you're within 2 feet of the basket and I see you lay the ball up on the glass, I'm taking you out of the game. I want you to take it to the hoop, and I want you to rip that rim off. I don't care who's in front of you. You got to put a little intimidation in the people. When you're 7'1", I want to see intimidation on the court, and that guy can bring it. If you you saw what happened last week with Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, they declared him dead because he got dunked on by DeAndre Jordan. So, I mean, you don't want to get posterized. I mean, some guys see that big monster coming in on a dunk, they're going to get out of the way.
That's true.
So that's the way it's going to be. Well, I did want to say one thing.
We're going to get this last thing in because we can both talk. I mean, all of us here.
Could somebody, for the love of God, tell Pierre Maguire that it's not Brooks or Peck. He's not going to peck you to death with his beak or pick with an axe pick. Okay? Could someone slap him upside the face?
Hold it, you're now on BPTV at Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Bar. This will be on YouTube, so he'll watch it now. He'll get the point.
Get the name right.
Hammer that home again, and then.
And one other thing.
Okay.
We got 4 teams we got to root for this year.
All right, let us know.
State finals. We got Lincoln Park,
Lincoln
Beacon
Park,
Falls,
Yes, sir.
Montour, and of course Newcastle. So let's hope by next show we got 4 Western Pennsylvania champions.
You come back.
We ain't losing to the East. We dominate out here.
You come back to the next show and give me the report on that. I know you'll be seeing one of those games at least.
Well, let's hope for Lincoln Park. That's my hometown. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cheering for them.
Midland and all. So.
Hey, thanks,
Keep
Big
an eye
Mike.
on them, yeah.
I appreciate it. See you next week.
Ah, jeez.
All right.
Hey, Russ.
All right, we're going to bring up our final guest, and Little Z knows the best for last. We got John Galaza coming in. He was on our show before. He's a fantasy baseball expert.
Yes, sir.
I like his swag.
Welcome to the show, John.
Guys,
John, good to see you again.
I just have to say this, that Al, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, but Al's hair is so perfect tonight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I walked in and I was like, it just looked
Zazu downtown.
right next to the bar. I was like, oh my God.
Not a hair on a plate.
Hold it, wait. Oh,
It is
okay.
just so, oh my gosh.
Thanks, buddy. I'll give you $5 now. But you can get your hair cut at Zazu.
Yeah, where do you get it cut?
At Zazu in downtown. See Emilio? That Marianne Workman cuts my hair. So you can see her, friend her on Facebook. Go to Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Bar. Go on Pittsburgh Sportsline, friend us, whatever. Like us. You got to like us, buddy. I didn't see a like on Facebook from you.
Why am I the only person that comes up here with notes? Everybody comes up here, nobody has notes. I come up here,
You're professional. You're professional.
It's like my blanket.
Right. Well, we won't say what your other career is, but Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Farmers Insurance. Let's talk baseball.
Welcome to the show, Fantasy Baseball Sports. Will you start already? Thanks for the compliments. You're welcome back next time.
Absolutely.
What's your pick here? What's your team? Who are you picking for players?
Well, I'm picking, I got 2 drafts. I'm picking 3rd and 9th. Picking 3rd, not sure who's going to be. There's Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, Ryan Braun. You know, the thing is Ryan Braun going to be suspended for putting a needle on his bum?
No, because he takes artificial testosterone.
Artificial?
And HGH,
They'll find a flaw at the collection process.
Right.
And he'll walk again.
You'll get us going on a tangent there.
No, but in all honesty, right now the way my board is Ryan Braun, Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, Matt Kemp, Joey Votto. If I could get Miguel Cabrera at number 3, I would be just tickled pink. But,
really?
You know, Mike Trout is that kid last year who just unbelievable, 20 years old. He could be the next Mickey Mantle, but something about a kid that young in his 2nd year coming off just
You think the sophomore jinx?
The kid
you believe that?
The kid just performed at a level that's absolutely unheard of last year. And some people say, well, even if he falls off by 20%, he's still going to be unbelievable. But I would just rather go with a safe bet like a Ryan Braun, a Matt Kemp, who you know who's done it for 5, 6, 7 years,
right.
And you know what
you'll
you're
go
getting.
with the experience then.
Absolutely.
So their track record's what you go by.
Well, you know what? You never know till you click that box draft night. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never done it. I'm not into that. I know Chip's done it.
You know, and the thing is, when you go to the draft, you know, you always go into a draft with some type of a strategy. Like, you know, I want to go pitching rich, or I want to go hitting rich. But it always is who's available when it's your turn. And
okay.
That dictates where you're going to be, or how you're going to draft. Because you may have thought, well, you know, where I'm picking in the draft, I'm not going to have a chance at this person, and boom, they're sitting there available when you come. That can change your whole line of thinking.
And how many guys pick in your draft?
In my main draft,
yeah, your main one. Because I know you do at least 2, right?
It's a 15-team league with 33 roster spots and 3 minor league spots. And I will tell you that when I only started...
Where's your computer?
I only started doing football about 5 years ago, and I grew up playing baseball. That's my number one love, my number one sport. And my buddy in Arizona kept saying, dude, you got to do baseball, you got to do baseball. I did my first draft, and I was just overwhelmed. And it is. I will tell you this, I love fantasy football, but compared to fantasy football is a joke. I mean, I love it to death, but it is so easy.
Oh, yeah, the thing
compared
with
to fantasy
baseball, you got a short relievers, you got long relievers, you've got starting pitchers, and you have to concentrate on, okay, who do I put in my lineup for this week? Because you set your lineup once a week. Which of my starting pitchers are going to start twice that week, because you want to get as much as you can out of each guy. And it's really last year was my first year dabbling in fantasy baseball, and it's very hard for me to get into it because my busiest time in my real job is in the spring, and I don't have the time to do the kind of research that you need to do to pay attention because guys are falling off, you're making adding, dropping, and it was mind-boggling to me.
No, you know what? You're and the thing is, there's in baseball, like in football, you want to get yards, touchdowns. That's really all you care about.
Exactly.
And in baseball, you're managing ERA, WHIP, home runs, stolen bases, RBIs, Ks, wins, saves. There's 10 categories, and you want to end up being as close to the top in all those categories as possible. And that's where it really, the strategy when you draft, it's a blast. And I will tell you.
Let me pick your brain. What is your strategy to get the optimum player?
Early on, what I want is home runs.
Okay.
The thing about, the big thing, like some people early on in a draft will chase stolen bases. Okay. Stolen bases is one category. And it's great to have stolen bases, but if you want to load up with home runs early on, because home runs will give you obviously home runs, RBIs, and runs. So you're knocking out.
So you got a triple threat there.
Right. And you will not find home run hitters in the 28th round.
Okay.
In the 28th round, you can find a guy like a Jose Tabata who will steal some bases.
Right.
Oh, this year he's in shape. He might be a sleeper.
Oh,
you might be on it. They said he's in shape,
make
folks.
A roster, I mean,
I don't know.
He's done a little bit better this year, but I'm telling you what, he has not really set the world on fire. I mean, he's got a lot yet to prove, and he's already been given the chance to do it.
Right. Well, we'll see. Let's continue with your criteria. So you go for the home runs first.
Home runs. You always want to focus on power.
Now, when do you stop on the home runs?
Well,
unless
to be
you
honest,
find a sleeper.
To be honest with you, I just the way I build my draft board, and it's a labor of love, but it's a pain in the butt. I will go out and grab 12 fantasy magazines,
12
off the shelf, and I will literally input all of the rankings by hand of probably about 450 players, go through, drop the high, drop the low, force rank them, and get a...
Hold it. How long does this take?
It takes a long time.
Give an estimate out here.
3-4 weeks to do it.
All right.
My draft board right now is not done. I'm actually...
You behind.
I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm taking Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday off of work to draft Wednesday.
I don't know where you work.
But people at Farmers Insurance do not know that. They know I'm off work, but they don't know it's because of my fantasy draft.
Watch Little Z, buddy. He wants more airtime, so he's definitely dropping a dime on you. He's from Homestead. Guess what? That's all over the internet right now.
Hey, I got the PTO coming. It's
okay. As long as you got PTO on your side, you're good. All right, carry on then.
No, but you want to focus on home runs. You want to.
What would I do next then, if I were you? What's the next thing that I would look for?
I follow my board. Like last year, I will tell you, in one of my leagues, I drafted 3 second basemen in a row. Neil Walker, Jason Kipnis for the Indians, Dustin Ackley, because they were the best available. I'm a big believer, draft what is the best available.
Wow.
I had 3 second basemen, so what did I do with one of them? I traded them and got something that I was a little bit short on.
Okay.
Big believer, and especially late in the draft, you want to pick out those guys that have multi-position flexibility, like Garrett Jones. I've had Garrett Jones 2 years in a row. It's like I always get...
You can put him in as an outfielder or first base.
I get sort of stuck with him. He's a headache because he's either real hot or real cold. But those guys that can play first base or outfield, big advantage because you can plug him in at multiple positions.
So there's another strategy, folks.
Absolutely.
Anybody listening to this fantasy sports, I'm learning a couple things.
Closers are another thing. Like some people, my strategy with 15 teams, you figure you're going to have 30 closers in baseball.
Right.
So you want to have at least 2 closers.
Okay.
Some people say you should never grab a closer early. Let me tell you something. When you're in a 15-team league and when the closers start going off the board, you better grab one.
Quick.
Really?
Because I know a guy last year who got behind the 8 ball and just basically punted the category of saves. He had no closers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have no closers and you're getting no points in a category, you're basically just saying, to heck with that category, I'm not going to get any points at all. And I'm not going to bore you with the way that.
Okay, don't do that. We're trying to keep this loose and
but
lively
you
here.
want to make sure that you want to be getting some points in every category. So if you're getting 0 points in saves,
it's hard to come back.
You better
from
hope
that.
you're loaded for bear in every other category there is.
Right, and you say there's 10 categories?
Yep.
So you got to make sure you hit on them. What are some of the other categories that you look for then?
ERA and WHIP, earned run average, WHIP. Now, see, that's one of those categories, and it's so much different than football.
And for the lay people, WHIP is walks and hits per innings pitched. Okay, that's a category, and if a pitcher can keep that as close to 1 as possible, that's somebody that you want to have in your roster.
And I'll give you an example last year how I shot myself in the foot. Well, I had a couple people on my butt, and they were catching me in wins, Ks. Well, the only way you can get wins and Ks is to have starting pitchers out there, and you're going to get wins and get Ks.
Right.
But the difference with fantasy baseball that's completely different from football is you can lose ground in a category, or actually I should say you can gain ground in a category by doing absolutely nothing. ERA and WHIP is just a factor of earned runs, innings pitched. So if you sit on your hiney and put nobody on the mound, but somebody else runs a pitcher out there and they get shelled, their ERA and WHIP go higher, you can gain ground by doing nothing. See, last year what I did is I was trying to chase wins, I was trying to chase Ks, and I was pitching and ditching pitchers to try to get as many wins and Ks as possible, losing ground in ERA and WHIP. So
you stopped it.
Well, you end up doing more damage trying to chase wins and that's why it is.
Wow.
It's
There's some extra strategy
What
here.
did us in last year is, we were strong in home runs and RBIs with Giancarlo Stanton and Jose Bautista.
Oh yeah.
Saves we didn't, and we basically there was nobody out there for us to take. So we're like, okay, we basically forfeited that category because we were going to be the bottom ranked team, and we were like, even if we made a trade, the best we were going to do is move up 2 or 3 spots, and why give up everything that you've got in the other categories that's getting you more points. So it was like, it was a learning lesson for me.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this again, John?
This will be my 3rd year in fantasy baseball.
3rd year.
Do you keep your team from year to year, or do you have to redraft?
You draft a new one.
No, it's a redraft league. But I know 3 years ago, my buddy in Arizona, he says, dude, you got to do baseball. And I said, it's a $350 buy-in. I said, I'm not cutting my teeth on a $350 buy-in. So I did about 15 free leagues.
Yep.
And then the next year,
you're ready to go major.
4th place and 2nd place. The top 4 teams make money.
Yeah.
And
so,
is this the $350 league? What does it pay? What kind of money can you afford?
So you got 15
For
teams times
only,
350. Right? First place will win 50% of whatever 15.
Oh, okay.
First place will win about $2,700.
Smoking Jim is now going to join
and
fantasy
the last
baseball.
2 years, I have been. I am the king of owning first place for the first 75% of the season.
No, he's got pirate blood in him.
I'll tell you, a great way to learn the game is really the ESPN has a lot of free fantasy leagues.
Yep.
And what I did with one league last year was I let the computer draft a team for me. Okay, because you can do an auto draft, and just because I didn't know enough about it, that I didn't think that I could pick a reasonable enough team, and then you learned it. Okay, these are the things that I need to focus on because I could see the areas where I was deficient.
Yep.
Well, we're going to be winding down, so we got to get your other picks, and we got some of your strategies. We got 3 minutes to go. So
3 minutes. I'm just going to give you some of my favorite players.
Because anybody watching this, maybe they're in a league they want to pick.
Robbie Cano, love him. mainly he's a Yankee. He's one of those guys that'll never underperform. It's a contract year. You know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Bryce Harper, Mark Trumbo of the Angels, love him.
Okay.
Mark Trumbo hitting the Trumbombs. He's ranked number 74th on my board. Yoenis Cespedes, outfielder for the
How do
Oakland
you pronounce
A's.
that name?
Cespedes.
Wow.
Yoenis Cespedes.
You've been practicing.
Craig Allen, first baseman. Now,
I
he's
like
got
his name. I like that
first
last
baseman,
name.
outfielder eligibility for the St. Louis Cardinals. Freddie Freeman, first baseman for the Braves. Starling Marte, perfect example of a guy ranked 214 on my board. You'll get him in about the 14th round. And what will he get you? Stolen bases. You never chase stolen bases.
Really?
early.
Okay. More strategy, folks.
Yeah, there's another
Fantasy
kid,
sports.
I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. An outfielder for the Brewers.
Aoki.
Something like that.
Noichi Aoki.
See?
Yeah, you know,
Had him last year. Picked him up in the middle of the year.
John
Asian
speaks
guy.
22 different languages, all in baseball.
That's right, exactly. Now, I was hoping for a
You
body
can't
guard
put him
to
in
win
your
the
lineup
card,
if you
too.
can't pronounce.
We have them. We have them here for you. Go ahead. Keep going there. We don't need to interrupt you.
Alexei Agondo, starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers, love him. Chris Medlin, starting pitcher for the Braves, love him. Jordan Zimmerman. Moustakos, Mike Moustakos, third baseman for the Royals, had him last year, love him. Salvador Perez, late round catcher for the Royals. Matt Harvey, young pitcher, starting pitcher for the Mets. He could be the next sort of a poor man Steven Strasburg. A lot of strikeouts.
Do you think R.A. Dickey's going to have the kind of effect he had last year? What about Gio Gonzalez?
Gio Gonzalez, I always like him. Another good point. I like when push comes to shove, when you're drafting starting pitchers, and I made this mistake last year. If you got two guys you're falling in love with, which guy is in the National League, which guy is in the American League? I'll always take the National League starting pitcher that's going to face a pitcher in the lineup over the American League.
It'll
Now,
help your stats.
next thing is look at the pitcher who's in a favorable ballpark. A starting pitcher in San Diego, for example. Love those guys because they play in a big ballpark.
Right.
All those little things, it's what you learn as you go through it. That, you know, last year I picked up Justin Masterson over Johnny Cueto. Oh my gosh. Justin Masterson would no-hit the Yankees and then get shelled by the Twins. But American League just too hard to predict because you've got the DH and there's no break in the
My
line.
opinion, ban the DH.
I'm with you on that.
I like the DH.
Do you? Why?
Just because there's nothing more than
More
I hate
home
seeing the
runs.
Pirates have a rally and you've got Jeff Karstens coming up to bat.
Yeah, but you know, I think the thing about that makes that better in the National League is the manager has to better manage his team to put himself into a position with that. With the American League, the pitcher's never part of the equation as far as batting. So you know, I mean, I know the arguments to and against, but I just think it makes the game more interesting.
We're not going to argue any more on it. We're going to have to wind this down. We've probably got about 30 seconds.
Last
so
point.
Go ahead.
Make sure go to the draft with a big board, more players than you need, and do not leave the draft at the 28th round because you're tired. Last 2 years ago, who did I get in the 28th round? Melky Cabrera.
Wow.
Totally overperformed out of nowhere. Stay in the draft room till the end. You never know who you're going to get diamond in the rough on a whim.
Good point.
And you heard it, folks, from our expert fantasy baseball sports, John Galaza. You're
I need
welcome
an
back.
escort to the car for those boxers.
And we want to thank Sip Sports Bar for having us here. We appreciate it. Nice crowd here. Great food, great service. Tracy's the best. Here, Dan here has been helping us out. He knows everybody. So thanks again. Chip the Prophet Hayner, fantasy sports expert. Smoking Jim Frazier. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, John.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for your input.